Good afternoon, real estate professionals. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. I hope everybody is well. Happy New Year. Today's title of our webinar series, Just Don't Sell the House, Sell the Whole Neighborhood. My name is Kurt Klaus, and if you are new to the series, I see people are still jumping on the call. This webinar series is brought to you by the Guaranteed Rate Companies, and it is sponsored by our Agent Advantage website. If you're not familiar with Agent Advantage, we have a version of the site for both Guaranteed Rate Affinity, Proper Rate, but the whole focus of Agent Advantage, it is a website where we put everything we have as a group of companies to provide technology and tools and coaching. It's all no cost, but us as a company, we really value our relationship with our referral partners like you, our realtor referral partners who use us and trust us. And it's a combination of again, of all of our technology and all of our connections to our loan officers and all the products and the digital mortgage tools that we have. So typically we have webinars on specific tools and features of the Agent Advantage website. But today we have a really relevant topic, and we're thrilled to have Nick Ermo joining us. Instead of just features of the website, we are going to, continuing on this year, add more topics on how we can help you overall on growing your business and being more efficient. So today's live webinar series, we do these live, so take notes, ask questions. We'll try to squeeze a question or two in when it's appropriate, but we'll save time at the end of the webinar to get to questions on the fly. So love hearing from you, and submit your questions in that chat feature on the GoTo. Sarah is manning the board and she will compile questions. But today, again, our topic is how to help you. I know it's a new year and you are putting together your business plan for 2021. How to help you become a local expert and own your community and dominate your market. So to help farm a new area, I know agents, especially new agents, tend to focus on each listing or just the next commission check. But the big picture and the long-term plan is to, over time, establish a presence, dominate or own your market, and have that snowball into a steady flow of referral or leads. So I am pleased to introduce my colleague, Nick Ermo. He's coming to us from beautiful Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm here at the corporate headquarters in Chicago, but Nick is going to talk us through his content marketing techniques and tips. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Kurt. Thank you so much for that awesome introduction. And I just can't wait to share some insights on what you just said, just how to grow your business and how real estate farming is a great way of finding great content to share with your audience.
Awesome. Yeah, again, we're thrilled to have a more intriguing topic that people can to put into place. So kind of take us through what we can do if we are an agent and we are looking to break into a market, or simply looking to, for anybody who wants to grow their sphere and get more business.
Absolutely. And this is coming from, when we first spoke about putting on a webinar for the first of the year. I was trying to think about something that was relevant that I've been asked from previous agents that I've been helping. Like, they understand the importance of social media. They know the importance of lead generation, organic search, but they're looking beyond just the listing of a home, and they're thinking, how do I provide value? What am I an expert in? And I think that that's a great intro to not just developing yourself as a brand and a place for resources that you can connect people to, but starting your own backyard. I mean, that's in essence what real estate farming is that it's not just marketing, it's really developing yourself as that guy or as that gal to really know and understand what it is that your neighborhood does either different, if it's a geographical interesting place, or if it's a niche marketplace, or whatever it is that your local place does. Instead of thinking about what on social media you're doing, think about what your messaging and how you're adding value to your social media platforms do. And so I think that this is really a more of a state of mind than it is um, a way to sell another house. This is really how to build yourself as a local presence, get yourself cost effective, very authentic, very organic content marketing to use. And it's all under the umbrella of you live and you work in an area, and that gives you an unlimited amount of resources to really push to your audience. And I think that that's a really good way of thinking of it, is that think local. And again, I won't read from the slide like word for word, but I think that if you had to take away something about real estate farming, if you wanted to know what the concept is, it's really becoming that person in the neighborhood or the community that is the go-to for content that's going on and around the neighborhood.
Yeah, be the guy or the girl. And the concept, as you said, is how I tried to explain. It's a bigger picture, but so many agents think just transaction and not about down the road and just being known or being relevant or kind of planting the seeds. And it should be consistent and it should be every day, but easy to get caught up in the next closing or particular clients. But yeah, it's more of a concept, like you said. I love it.
Well, and that's the funny thing about it, is that authentic is a great and a bad word. If you're trying to be authentic, chances are you're not, right? Right? It's that passion is what makes it so intriguing. Content that, when you genuinely care about the school that your kids go to, the neighborhood that you live and work in, the community, the businesses that help not just generate jobs locally, but also the places that you participate at, the local coffee shop, the new business owner. Those stories impact way more than just purchasing a home. But what's so compelling is that when you're involved in the basics of running a community and being involved and participating and interviewing people, talking to people, that's really what's been going on for generations, right? I mean, people used to gossip in their neighborhood. They put on little neighborhood parties, block parties, garage sales, things like that, where people would really, it wasn't about commerce, it wasn't about transactions, as you said, it's about building a place that you really care about, that you want to live. And it's not just how many homes you sold or how many dollars you made at your business, but it's really connecting yourself to something of value,
Yeah, and
right?
it's
And
it's a super powerful thing too. Consumers today are way more likely to believe or trust family and friends and neighbors with as far as recommendations than reading a straight out advertisement. And the passion, I love when you said that. People say, well, I'm trying to build a brand. What's my brand? I don't have one, but I think you do. Everybody does, and it's what you are already doing and what you are already like as a person. Some people, it's they're moms and they're involved with the community and the kids. Some age I know is in part of the rowing circles in Florida, and that's become a huge community for her. But it could be, any cause that you're passionate about that you can, whether you're a foodie or a crafter, but it's easy for you to jump in and be the ambassador for groups or things that you're already doing.
It's so true. And the leads that you might capture thinking this way aren't, it's not transactional in nature, even the lead generation, right? It's you when you're involved and you're participating and you're engaged with the local community, everyone now somehow becomes either a client or a referral partner or a connection and a friend. And I think that it's really important to think about how neighbors helping neighbors grow a community, instead of inviting somebody in because there's a great job or there's a great uh a great bar down the street or whatever it is. You're inviting them to be part of your neighborhood, and there's an authenticness and there's a consideration there that goes so farther beyond just um getting somebody prepared to make a move or to buy a new house or upgrade or downsize or whatever their situation is. It's you're really inviting them into the thing that you're proud about. So I just think it's a great way of thinking, and that philosophy, of course, don't just let it end with your pride and your neighborhood efforts, but put those feelings of passion, put those feelings of wanting to share these great stories into practice online. Put it in your social media, put it in your blog, make it part of your marketing, put it in your postcards, because when you sell the neighborhood, you're really selling what you fell in love with yourself when you started your journey to homeownership.
Here's an early question, good one. As far as farming and choosing a neighborhood, how big of an area should I be choosing? It's a great question. Obviously, you can't farm the entire city of Atlanta, but what would you suggest on someone really looking to identify and choose the size of a neighborhood to farm?
Well, I think there's two parts to that. I mean, you wouldn't want to farm in an area that's too far away from you to do the property listings, to do, I mean, you're going to generate interest, and because of that, you don't want to use marketing that's so far away from you that you can't really participate genuinely. If you find yourself going too far out, it'll cause a problem because you won't be available when opportunity does allow you to take advantage of this marketing technique. However, I think that's a really good question too, is that, like, combine your love of an area with also potentially, and we might be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but think also about how to identify yourself as an expert in the area and to offer some kind of niche, some kind of specific value. So, like, let's just say you're in Chicago and you're near Lake Michigan. Think about how that area might have waterfront properties or North Shore properties or luxury properties or things of that nature that go hand in hand with that demographic in that neighborhood, because that'll give you an action plan to build that content out, and also have an action for people to say, hey, you know what? I do want to actually talk to this real estate agent because they know this market really well.
Yeah, and obviously being in the market and being in the neighborhood and knowing it is a big part of this. But next slide is how to be how to promote yourself as the neighborhood expert and things you can do and things you can share.
Right. And there's so many things to, I mean, again, this is really thinking about how to build that content marketing. And these are the types of things that you might want to think about when you're promoting an area. Um, and be equipped with I hate to say it, but the speeds and fees, right? What are the costs of home ownership in the area? Are there events and activities that people might be interested in? Um, Maybe you'd like to, get to know your local business owners a little bit better and talk to them, interview them. get their insider information about areas too, because again, not you're not just trying to become a local expert for your own self gain, you're also trying to promote and get the referrals from all these other business owners, all these other industries. It doesn't have to be a lender, it doesn't have to be a financial planner. It could be just the an attraction or a place, a park, or a an employer, even like some of the best places to work actively are looking to bring more people into that community. And with COVID happening, a lot of people are working from home. They want to get back into the suburbs. There's so many ways of making those connections work as a long-term marketing play than just that topical, oh, I know this person. Well, dig a little bit deeper and share their story too. You'd be surprised on how many people would love to work with an agent that took interest in their business and in their helping the neighborhood too.
Yeah, for sure. And regarding the neighborhood, in thinking of the buyer, I mean, top three factors that home buyers look for, aside from affordability, price, obviously, and the geographic location, is the quality of the neighborhood. So, some people start their search that way. And I also feel it's easier to create content when you're just sharing knowledge and sharing facts. It's not my face on a billboard with my ratings as a real estate agent. I'm just giving facts, and I'm being the go-to, or I'm being the expert in my area, as you said on the last slide.
Well, and to add to that, Kurt, a lot of people right now are choosing homes based on lifestyle. I mean, a lot of people say, hey, you know what, I have kids, and there's COVID, I'm not getting out of the house as much, I need a backyard, I need to make a move to either have the right place, or maybe I want, now that I have the luxury of working from home, at least maybe even as temporary as it is, maybe I want to go into a gated community, maybe I want a resort like property that I can really spend more time in and feel more um the true benefit of a neighborhood or a community. So think about that too when you're thinking about the neighborhood. What is that neighborhood? What is that development? What is that community doing to either support or even enhance some of these unique lifestyles that people are looking for? And maybe you live in an area that um, like Wilmington, North Carolina. We actually have some really great like solar options for homes, and they're eco-friendly. And you have some neighborhoods that are very walkable. So think about like that too. And I know, Kurt, you'll touch on this later about our neighborhood reports, but I think that it's really important right now to emphasize the importance of choosing a home based on the lifestyle you want to live, just as much as the bedrooms and the bathrooms.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Everybody's rethinking where they live and where they work from home, as you said. But really, understanding not just the niche market that you said, and not just the loan products that those buyers will be looking for, but like I said, identifying your target audience in this neighborhood. Is it What's the age group? Is it luxury or is it townhome? What's the type of buyer, not just the type of loan product? A first-time home buyer is a different communication. It's a scary thing, and maybe it's sharing guides and tutorials versus someone that is buying luxury. But who is your target audience? Is it international buyers? Your marketing is most effective when it speaks to your target customer. And think of, when you're creating it, what help or what service or what value can you provide that target customer. Put yourself in the shoes of the customer that would live in your neighborhood.
Absolutely. And just like you were saying too, like VA is a great example of that. Like you have a neighborhood that's near a military base. Not only should you know the VA loan product per se, in that neighborhood, and be able to speak on that as almost at an expert level, so that way you can advise your clients to take advantage of opportunities like that. but also like take it a step further, like what kind of content would somebody in that neighborhood really like to know before they even start their home process, before they start their journey into shopping for a home or searching for, um, you know, those types of avenues before they even get pre-approved. Like think, you know, how does a VA uh, purchaser buy a multifamily property and offset some of the cost of living at their primary home? Like, you know, how does that affect their full life cycle as a homeowner? And I think that those kinds of tips and tricks, being very neighborhood specific, very area focused and very niche focused, gives you so much more of an appearance of being that local expert, being that advisor, to giving them that wealth of knowledge from the very get-go. um, they won't come back to you or a lender or anyone if they feel like they didn't get enough information from the beginning. So I think it's really important that the brand that you put out there online speaks to in detail that person who you're trying to attract with educational material, but also relevant material for that niche.
Yeah, absolutely. You must do both, laser focused and shotgun. But when you're doing that, laser focused marketing to a specific group, much more resonates way more to that group of individuals. So other ways we can share our expertise and be out there and be seen.
So, and this is a great point to talk about social media a little bit more specifically about what you're getting all this content, right? You're getting all these stories, you're taking photos of the local car show, and you're you know, you're out there, you're present, you're engaged. What do you do to really distribute that content, right? And sharing your passion about a neighborhood, if it's not done in the right way, your benefit, your actual long lasting effort won't become realized as easily as if you take advantage of all these tools. So when you're setting up your social media accounts, when you're setting up landing pages on a blog or a website, think very critically about which channels are going to get the best chance at being discovered and engaged with. If you're not a video person, there's no need to be. I mean, we all have our own skills, and we don't need to be an expert in everything. But if you are really good at video, you might want to use YouTube more than, let's just say, Twitter. And if you're really thinking about, like, let's say senior community that you want to be more engaged with and market more about and talk about senior living and that lifestyle, maybe you want to choose Facebook because you know a older demographic is on there, and that's a better place for you to be active in. So just think about what channels will work best for you, and also to play on your strengths even more, what kind of content is more, let's say, appropriate for that channel. Also, while you're thinking about social media, also think about Facebook groups that already exist that you can participate in, that you can engage in. And it doesn't have to be real estate agent like specific. It doesn't even have to be about real estate at all. Some people participate in free cycle, like giving away goods, or they try to do some of the like local yard sales, or just being engaged with a car group. Or if you're not a fan of you know, certain things, think about what the schools are doing, any plays, musicals, events like that. Because the more you're engaged with the local community, especially what you're proud and passionate to be a part of, the more exposure you'll get and the more opportunity you have to engage when people do have questions. It's always good to be able to respond in a public forum, especially like a group on Facebook. And
Yeah, and
then
those
of
those
course,
local Facebook groups, some are invite only, but those closed neighborhood groups, sometimes it's just mothers and things that's going on. But as a realtor that's done a transaction with someone in that group, if you can be invited or be a part of those local neighborhood Facebook groups that share not just what's bought or what's sold, but everything going on, and just be, part of that. By the way, you're the local realtor. So that's a really great way to kind of be ingrained in that neighborhood or that community.
Plus, it's free exposure, right? I mean, you're not paying anybody to get your name out there that way. You're providing value. You're providing an opinion. You're providing possibly reviews for local businesses. Great way to become a local expert. And I mean, also think about this too, is that the more your profiles are engaged, the more you're doing backlinking, the more you're doing, and it's not advanced SEO or anything, the more you're working those channels, the more opportunities you're going to be discovered when people are looking for information. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these activities. It's not just playing around on Facebook, you're actually helping build yourself a local brand. So, and by the way, just go back 1 second, Kurt. Um, Also think about when you've done all these social media profiles, when you're building these, if you haven't already, just make sure, don't ignore that you need to have this NAP plus W that's identical and syndicated across all of these different platforms. A lot of people make the mistake. Um, they don't include certain information like a phone number or something on a social media platform, call it Facebook, call it Zillow, whatever. Make sure that whatever business name and whatever address that you're using, make sure it's consistent across the board. That'll help Google and everyone else make sure that that information is not only accurate, but it's really damaging to your local presence if there's inaccuracies, because then Google and the search engines won't send you the traffic because they can't verify that it's accurate.
Great. Yeah. Great point. And going on to content, along with that, it's consistency, like you said, with the basics, and then being mindful that every touch or every message should provide value, and they should, if whenever possible, include a call to action. Doesn't have to be an in your face, are you selling now? Are you selling now? But it can be, if you're sharing info on um, neighborhood reports, for example, it's putting, it's as easy as one sentence. If you would like a future report, or if you like to receive future reports or home valuations, or contact me here. It's something as simple as that, to give the viewer, the consumer, a call to action, or something to reply to, or add their information to.
Exactly. And, keeping that in mind too is that if you're struggling, or if you're just new to an area, or if you're thinking, you know what, this whole content stuff, this really is not my cup of tea. Subscribe to some of these online tools like Google Alerts. It's free. It's available. It'll give you pop-ups and notifications based on keyword searches that you're interested in. I know one of the most popular choices for a marketing person is to put their own name in there and just see if it ever pops up, and it never happens for me. But anyway, but think about what might be interesting. A new business opens up, let's just say, or um, a new event is being decided upon by the local community. What a better way to keep in tune yourself than to have those notifications come into your email, and then quickly do a post on that, or just being engaged in a way that you don't want to oversend and make a lot of noise, but you want to be well informed. And I think that the easiest way to look at it is that if it applies to you, if it's something like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that was happening, that's the perfect time to post it, because probably not everybody else knew about it either.
Yeah, great. Second question just came in right after you mentioned that, and I'm sure there's a balance between being informative and just being annoying. But the question is there, as far as frequency and cadence, is there a ballpark rule on how often I should be posting and sharing?
Well, a year ago, and it all depends on channel, but a year ago, I read that the average tweet lasts less than 20 minutes. And so if you think about it, to be, you know, top of mind, constantly visible, rather discoverable, you'd have to be making hundreds of posts, and nobody has the time to do that. And I think that that would be even discouraging. I think a lot of people would turn your channel off if they saw you making more than a couple posts an hour, right? But that's not to say that you can't filter it down to what's most relevant and what's most um, engaging, right? So filter it in the sense that there might be a lot of news about a lot of, let's say, 3 or 4 builders started developments in your community, and it all happened in the same week. Don't wait to send that information out because you think it's too much. That's important information. But if there's, you know, 100 birthdays and you think that you should be publicizing every 100 of them on Facebook, you probably want to calm down and realize that, hey, this is not something that's going to matter to the whole audience that I serve. I'll keep this to one post at most about all 100.
Yeah, I mean, we all get marketed to from others, and we all know the difference between the daily share that eventually we unsubscribe to versus the one that it is engaging or it is timely. It's like the neighborhood ice rink is now open. Here are the hours, or here's the summer street fest, or here's the schedule now that my high school football team is starting. But I always say, think of you and what you would open or what you would think is useful or what you would love to receive as someone in your community. And those are, you know, typically the ones where don't just do it to do it or get your 4 posts in for that week. Make it something that is impactful.
Well, and you know, to expand on that a little bit more, Kurt, because this question's really good. Also, think about how, if you're just setting people constant listings and listings and listings, if they're not in the market to buy a house, I don't think they're going to want to know about the listings, right? However, if you're talking about the community, you're talking about engaging things that are happening, and it's not a sales pitch, I think people are going to be really genuinely happy that you're sending them that content.
Yeah, agree. And it just happens to come from the you know, neighborhood real estate agent or the real estate expert. That's the, you know, the whole, you know, be memorable that way, not for, you know, it doesn't always have to be real estate related.
Exactly. And again, to that point, I mean, this slide is really just about the local content opportunities. I know they kind of dived into a few of these ideas, and we don't have to go through all of them, but just there's almost an unlimited amount of ideas and ways to creatively send announcements, notifications, content posts out. And don't forget, I mean, do as many or as little as you want, but don't forget to make it interesting. Don't forget to snap that photo, take a quick video. I'm not suggesting everybody gets on TikTok tomorrow to make videos, but think about, if content to you is important and you like how certain people share online, follow someone who's built an audience already. Everything online is not complicated. It's all reversible engineering, right? So, you know, if you have a particular channel that you really like, or if you have a influencer that you're really like, hey, you know what? I can't wait to see them do 100 questions of that celebrity next time they post. Use some of the same tactics that got you engaged. Use them for yourself.
Yeah, love it. And to segue to this, be entertaining, be informative, be memorable, you know, be unique. Think of what no one else is doing and do something different. I think, you know, a no-brainer today with restaurants struggling is, you know, to go out and help small businesses that are hurting, or who's, you know, even if it is takeaway, best desserts in my community, and, you know, combo and partner up with those other businesses in your area to market with them. Um, you know, funny, entertaining. It says here too. You know, things that you think that you would watch, that you would open, that you would click into.
Absolutely. And if you want, I mean, to take it even a step further, find people that also want to promote themselves to participate with you. If there's a local builder, let's just say, or a developer that you know have worked with in the past a couple times, they still have houses in the communities. There's new models. Maybe there's a condo out there that has a lot of different, or even a renter, like a situation where you're talking to apartment building owners. Talk to them about, hey, can we build some content together? Can we talk about what brought you into the neighborhood, why you love the restaurant down the street so much, and set up a cadence where every week, every 2 weeks, every month even, you're supplying that same great content over and over and over again with different people, and you begin to build a following. That's an incredibly great way to organically change that marketing concept, is that you're really becoming a source of not just content, but you're almost like your own little media company.
Yeah, and it's easy. They'll love it. They're more than happy to partner up with you, and it's a great way to build relationships with everyone business wise in your area, in your neighborhood.
You really can't go wrong getting people to promote themselves through you. I mean,
No
that's
brainer.
yeah, that's an easy win-win.
Yeah, yeah,
And then on top of it, you're supplying the channel for them. So you're doing them a favor. This is not them doing you a favor. You're helping them just as much as they're helping you building that content together.
yeah. And here's a list of more kind of real estate related connections in networks, but it's also attorneys and those vendors that we just talked about, and putting together a welcome to the neighborhood kit for someone moving in, and promoting everyone else from the salon to the pizza joint to everything, to uh, vendors that can help them with their home.
Yeah, and that the other thing is that by being in the know and having a guy for everything or a gal for everything, um, just take it a step back too. If you're a roofer in the area and there's a storm, and you keep on referring the same roofing company, the same contractor over and over and over again, their business is going to blow up. They won't have enough people, they won't have enough resources to take all those refers. It's the same thing for you as an agent. If you're the person who constantly gets referred by all these people, um, hey, Adam, great guy. Hey, that guy Rick, he's totally cool. I worked with him. I had other people work with him. It's a great way of getting that local neighborhood referral business started, and it could be applied to anything, not just roofers or agents, but that's really how the old, people who are talking in the neighborhood, and I shouldn't say old, but the adults talking in the neighborhood amongst themselves, referring good professionals to do business with, is the same thing. We're just applying it to an online content marketing strategy, but it's the same old school way that people have been doing business for generations.
And it's trusted. It's not just going to a auto mechanic in finding them online. It's having, like you said, having a guy or a girl, whether it's a plumber or a auto mechanic, or even a hairdresser, something more personal like that, a landscaper. But having hearing it from family or friend or someone in the neighborhood, much more powerful than just seeing it on a flyer.
Exactly. And I think that that's a great way of thinking about this. The next slide, we're talking about really building that audience, thinking long term, making the strategy not just to affect one sale or one outcome, but it's really being that local neighborhood expert forever, expanding your network, using social media not to send a message to one person, but to send it through that person into their network and build a stable, reliable referral generation that'll last a lifetime. And even beyond that, I think that the people who are doing this right right now, they are they become, and I'm giving you these air quotes that nobody can see, but they become these influencers. And it's such a it's such a weird concept. Oh, I want to be a YouTube influencer. I want to use, social networks to grow my business and monetize it. All those are fancy ways of just saying, I want to be a source where people come to for advice. And what better place to be than an agent that people come to find information about a neighborhood that you sell homes in.
Yep. Yes. Not going to happen overnight. And it will get easier, obviously, once you've successfully closed a few deals because of how powerful the word of mouth is, like we just said. But knowing agents that that's their sole focus is once they get a client to make them a client for life and have a strategy as to how they're going to stay connected with them. And it's not just for their lifetime, a move up buyer, a bigger home for kids, a smaller home or a second home, but it's just, once you get that client, it's having that client for life. And agents that really focus on that, their business is 80-90% referral, as that just snowballs. And wanted to, unless anything else on the audience or the strategy here, Nick, I want to also mention, based on what you have just outlined here, some of the tools that we have that are part of the Agent Advantage site, and then we'll try to field some questions at the very end.
Absolutely. If any questions come in, I'm happy to stay on and answer them as they come in.
Yeah, please do. Let me kind of share what we have that's on Agent Advantage. Again, agents.rate.com is the website, no cost, no obligation. It is coaching, it is marketing, and is a full all of our connections and technology as far as communication and transparency with the loans. But if you want to take and use the entire Agent Advantage CRM, or if you just want to use it to supplement with whatever system you have and you're currently using, but has all of our collateral plugged in. It is all co-branded with your loan officer of choice. It's up to you. This whole site is for you. But here is an example of property flyers and tons of marketing flyers on loan products. And here is one on the neighborhood reports, which provides, again, focusing on the neighborhood walk scores and transit scores and where are the closest shops and restaurants and schools. Lots of flyers that go into the specific loan products, like we mentioned, whether it's VA or second home or USDA. Great programs that can make a big difference to those buyers that are qualified. Lots of postcards and flyers plugged in here, just listed, just sold, co-branded. Great way to blanket or farm a new area. Everybody wants to know what's going on in their local market. So again, Agent Advantage has the Total Expert Realtor platform available there. You can take, it's also connected to the US Postal Service if you wanted to actually request and mail this out to certain areas. Data research, we mentioned to be the expert to share facts and data about your market. The rate.com/research page, this is a separate site outside of Agent Advantage. You can go to rate.com/research, and we have kind of aggregated data from multiple sources. You can search by zip code or city and share overall grades on education, cost of living, commute scores, unemployment, share facts based on zip code or city. What's the median home price or household income or even medium age or population data? But the school data can be pulled if someone's comparing two different neighborhoods. You can provide it by grade score, but you can pull school scores as well. But check out rate.com/research for data and information on any market nationally that you can add to your content that you're pushing out. There's also news articles. We've got a full editorial team that writes articles not all real estate related. There are articles on housing, but it also includes retirement planning, personal finance, for example, even education and healthcare. You can grab an article. These are not branded, can be shared on social, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, but to be the expert and share articles on retirement or finance or saving for school, but to kind of mix those in with everything else that you're sharing online. Another great source for data and content is our Great Life website. Tons and tons of cool looking content. Again, a separate website, greatlife.rate.com. This is generic, clean, no advertising. There's not a airline or liquor company on here. You can share this as if it's just coming from you. We have lots of Ty Pennington home fix-up tips. We have recipes. There's a finance category. I love the positivity, inspiration, wellness category here. But check out greatlife.rate.com. There are dozens and dozens of social platforms in here that in one click you can grab an article that you like and share it on social. If you're a blogger, it also connected to multiple different blogging sites. So to piggyback on everything Nick talked about as far as content and mixing it up and keeping it unique and keeping it interesting, it can be a article on finance, and it can also be a article on a recipe or how to make an apple pie here. So keep it interesting and mix it up. But those two sites, again, they're separate and they live outside of Agent Advantage, but greatlife.rate.com and rate.com/research. So in closing, again, keep it personal, be memorable, as Nick said, stand out, be fun, be interesting. How can you add value? But I think my most important takeaway here as we start the new year is, do you have a plan? What's your plan for 2021? What are you going to do differently than you did last year? What are your goals? Instead of just, so many people we know, they're busy, they're in their phone, their wheels are spinning, they're driving, but have a set plan. And once you have that set plan organized and put down, the easy part is just simply, following it. So questions, Sarah, any from you before I share the two that I have?
Yeah, so I got a good question about do you have any quick ideas on creative ways to engage people?
Well, without knowing who that person is, where they live, or anything like that, I think the easiest way, because I don't know you, is to look outside. Look outside the house, look at your neighbors, look at what's going on in today's neighborhood, and think to yourself, is there a story that's right here in my backyard? And I don't mean that figuratively. I really do mean literally. Look outside and see what's going on. Because if that's not inspirational to you, and if that's not noteworthy, think about what's going on in your neighbor's backyard in the next community over, because something's going on really close to you. You just might not know it. And I think that I don't typically have that much inspirational thoughts when I, get up in the morning, but it's talking to people, talking to my neighbors, talking to my coworkers, talking to my family, where I feel the most inspiration, because it's through them and their suggestions to me about what's important to them, do I find that I get these inspirational ideas or these content ideas. It's very difficult to pull that and extract that from an internal source. It's almost always easier to find something externally that'll influence that content.
Yeah, as far as engaging, I've seen some, again, quick and easy, some, kind of surveys or polls, or which kitchen do you prefer in these luxury homes to get people to, to make it a two-way conversation, a two-way street. So contests, things like that, to get creative with, to make it more than just you pushing stuff out, is to get people to reply, and make sure you're on there on your sites, and you're liking and you're replying and you're interacting to increase engagement with everyone that's that you're connected to.
That's a great point too, Kurt, is that if you're not trying to find some authentic, organic content, if you're in a slump, look at what other people are posting. And it doesn't hurt to share a couple too, to get that momentum going. It doesn't hurt to, look at what other social media influencers are doing, even outside of the real estate agent space, to find something that might be cool.
Yeah, here's another question. My marketing budget is small. What are best strategies, activities that I can implement at a low or no cost? And again, social media doesn't have to take up a lot of your time, and it can be totally free. But you don't need a huge marketing budget to start implementing some of the things we covered.
Exactly. A matter of fact, a lot of people are concerned, hey, you know what? I can't take a video of myself. It's not going to be professional. It's not going to be um, authentic, or it's not going to look good enough. It's not going to be polished enough. I say, don't let yourself get in the way of doing it. Don't let greatness come in the way of, you know, uh, uh, of just getting it done. And that the reason why I say that is because the content that you're going to put out, if it looks like it comes out of a, award-winning videography studio, it's not going to make the same kind of impression with your local neighborhood or be consistent than if you just grab your phone, vertical or horizontal, I don't even care, take that video, make yourself this local celebrity of sorts. It doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to sound great. It'll work better if it looks okay, but ultimately, and I should have said, don't let perfection come in the way of greatness, because that's really what most people get in the way of themselves with. They want it to be perfect, and that's the hugest impediment in getting it done.
Yeah, so today sometimes it's almost better. That's the lure of going on to Facebook Live, is because it is real. But yeah, a great way to take your phone and show yourself, and you're not talking about you or your business. You're showing the best running trails in your community, or you're going through and showing yourself in the best place to buy shoes in your neighborhood. Those, two things that someone might watch, and it just happens to become from, I'm just Nick, your trusted real estate agent in your community. So make it fun, make it easy, and don't get caught up on making it professional or over the top. One more quick one here. It says, you mentioned building a landing page for my area. Do you have any recommendations or resources for a novice on how to get started with building a landing page for my area?
Great question. And I mean, if you're doing it on your own, if your agency doesn't have something that already is in place that you can whip together a landing page, there's a lot of freebies out there to make landing pages and websites. And if you're a little bit less technological and you want something easy, you can always do a Squarespace or a Wix or a Weebly. Those are all really good DIY, kind of what you see is what you get, or WYSIWYG as they call them, website builders. And they work there's no real substantial difference between the SEO benefit you'll get from a WordPress site or something more complex to one of those do-it-yourself ones. Just pick a good template, start writing your content, put the pictures in. It's very simple. And before you know it, you'll have a nice little neighborhood landing page. Now, if you want to connect that to your, IDX platform or listings or anything like that, you might need some more advanced plugins. And that's why I check with your agency first, make sure they don't already have a software that you can use and establish yourself with. Otherwise, if they don't, we do have some tools too in our arsenal of things to make not really landing page, but we can get pretty close to driving those tools, and then you just need a place to put it.
Yeah, dive in. You'll learn. You know, sooner you fail, the more you'll improve and the quicker. Anything else? We're getting close to the end here, Sarah. Any other questions come in?
No specific questions, but a lot of people are interested in getting a copy of the deck as well as a recording of the webinar.
Awesome. Yeah, we will compile the slides here and have them available. I'll show you our contact information at the very end, but absolutely happy to do that. We are tentatively planning our next webinar next month to the topic of how you can become the expert in VA loans. We have our VA loan specialist military liaison. And if you're not already familiar with the incredible programs that are out there for veterans and for the families of veterans, join Nick and I next month. And great way to help those that have served. And you can add another area of expertise, another niche to your toolbox. So keep on the lookout for our February webinar on VA loans and how you can sell more homes. We love feedback. We love requests. We love to hear from our agents. You can contact us at agents@rate.com. And anything else, Nick, before we sign off?
No, and just what a great time to be an agent right now. I really think that 2021 is going to be a great year for all of us.
Absolutely. And now's the time to put your plan together. So on behalf of Sarah and Nick and myself and all of the Guaranteed Rate companies, enjoy the rest of today. Thank you very much for joining us for this hour. And here is to a great 2021.